Without further ado, I'd like to bring before you Shamer Ben Ahtur Yatsiliel.
My name is Shamer Ben Ahtur Yatsiliel. Today I would like to give a presentation on social networking and the danger of Facebook on us youth today. We tend on our daily basis to use the terminology or terms internet, not really knowing half of us what the internet really is. The internet is a global system of interconnected computer programs that uses or give us usage of millions of users worldwide. I want to basically tap on Facebook because it's a site that everybody, well, most of the youth use on a daily basis. Facebook. This was created by a college student named Mark Zuckerberg, on February 8th, 2004. The Facebook is a network system where it allows you to do a whole lot of things. That's when I get to talking about pros and cons, and how the pros and cons of Facebook aren't really pros. There's no pros to Facebook. The pros is actually quote-unquote pros. They lead to the cons of Facebook. What do I mean by that? I mean that these abilities that they give you on Facebook, where you can share ideas, activity, event, all that stuff is great. Sharing pictures, all that stuff is great. But what you showing on Facebook, how you showing it, and how you present yourself, the image that you're trying to bring on Facebook, that's the bigger picture. So I want to give a small breakdown on social networking, the service. What is social networking? Social network usually means an individual-centered service where online community service are group-centered. These sites allow you to do so many things, as I stated before: sharing pictures, videos, inboxing people, being able to communicate with people abroad. But this Facebook network, it takes away from our people-to-people ecology. What do I mean by people-to-people ecology? It's okay to communicate with people that's abroad or United States, four corners of the earth. Be able to communicate with them. But for example, like we just had Yom Kippur, where people are sending "I'm sorry" letters on Facebook, rather than going to that person sincerely and telling him face to face what you are sorry for, the sin that you committed, and asking for that person to forgive you. So I was really looking into these things, just using these programs and knowing what they're doing to you. They're actually destroying youth all over the world. It doesn't just happen here. We're just not pinpointing it here in the community. This is happening globally. For example, Facebook has met with some controversy, as we can see. It has been blocked intimately in several countries, including Pakistan, Syria, China, Vietnam, and Iran. It has also been banned at many places of work to discourage employees from wasting their time using the service. Meaning, the employees that are doing work on the computer, they're wasting their time. The boss is complaining because they're wasting their time playing Farmville or communicating with people, chatting with friends or whatever, instead of working. It's also been controversial because of the privacy. There's also been an issue, and it has been compromised several times. Although Mark Zuckerberg knew that at the beginning, publishing this website, that has been controversial because of the security, privacy of Facebook, and he did it anyway. What was his remarks after they confronted him? They get used to it, and we right now putting up what we got used to all this time. I want to touch bases on the license agreement between these websites that we use: Facebook, Twitter, Yahoo. all these social networks, all of the social networks that uses username and passwords account, any user can, what you call, impersonate someone, use that person's ID as their own, and play as if that person right there is the same person that you're talking to. So you can be talking to somebody and not know exactly who you're talking to, but because they have all of the information, all the private settings that they had before, you're totally confused with who you're talking to. You have no idea who you're talking to.
Okay.
That's when we get talking about the identity thief. Talking about the identity thief, not too long ago, the IDF, Israel Defense Force, the Israeli military posted an article. Headline was, "The IDF warns troops enemies terrorists can't use Facebook." The IDF has stepped up in its war on Facebook, warning officers throughout the military and the social network site. And the social network site could be used by the country's enemies to glean classified information. The letter was sent out following the online publication of a list of officers and soldiers featuring their photographic pictures, names, addresses, and personal details under the title "Israeli War Criminals" for their actions during Operation Cast led in the Gaza Strip 2 years ago. So this Facebook thing is big. I don't know how much we have seen it or felt it all this time using this site. And not to say that Facebook is something bad or something that, it doesn't have any positive use. It has positive use of Facebook. It's the way that you use it. Like I stated before, the image that you're trying to the image that you're trying to show on Facebook, what you're trying to represent. Secondly, I would like to get into the security and privacy. I'm not sure how many of us really take the time out when we sign into these websites and actually read the license agreements that they have at the beginning, where it's scrolling non-stop of reading what the license agreements and privacy you have using these websites. Most of us, not counting out myself because I do it often myself, I just click on agree, press next, go into the next box, press OK, and I'm already in.
Okay.
Without reading any license agreement. Inside these license agreements, they talk about encrypting and decrypting information. What is encryption? Encryption information